This dog breed might be the first one ever created in the United States. This is part one of American dog history. Did you know George Washington helped develop the American Foxhound specifically for fox hunting in Virginia? Fox hunting was a favorite colonial pastime, but English foxhounds just weren't built for the expansive Virginia terrain. Washington needed something faster and lighter. Washington's favorite foxhound was a dog called Sweetlips. He referred to her as the perfect foxhound, and he even brought her with him to the Continental Congress in 1774. At the Continental Congress, he struck up a friendship with Samuel Powell, who was also an avid fox hunter. Samuel Powell then introduced him to the delegates who would later back George Washington as general for the Revolutionary War. So in a way, America owes its entire existence, or at least the success of its Revolutionary Army, to a foxhound. There was another Revolutionary War hero who was instrumental in the development of the modern American foxhound, and you probably know him from Hamilton. In 1785, the Marquis de Lafayette sent Washington a gift of 7 huge hounds. They were probably Grand Bleu de Gascogne, pardon my pronunciation, but we don't know exactly which hound breed they were. Washington didn't really like their hunting style or their temperament, but their size was exactly what he needed. He crossed these French hounds with his lighter pack of foxhounds to create mixes that became the American Foxhound. These dogs were faster, more agile, and able to keep up with the horses for hours on end across the expansive Virginia terrain. Today's American Foxhounds are sweet, goofy, and they are just as energetic as their ancestors. You might hear them called walker hounds or running walker hounds. That is a video for another day and has to do with the different lines. Follow for day 2 when we'll talk about the Teddy Roosevelt Terrier. If you love dogs and American history, keep watching. This is day 3 of 30 days of American dog history. Yesterday, we talked about the Teddy Roosevelt Terrier, but today we're talking about a breed that's a little more mysterious. Nobody really knows where the Catahoula Leopard Dog came from, but what we do know is it's about as American as it gets, and its title of State Dog of Louisiana is well-deserved. The prevailing belief is that Catahoulas are descended from crosses of Native American dogs, red wolves, and the dogs brought here by Spanish conquistadors, which would have been mastiffs and sighthounds. Beauceron might also be mixed in there from when Louisiana was settled by the French. We don't even really know where the name Catahoula comes from. Some sources say it's a Choctaw word that means sacred lake. Other sources say it's a mispronunciation or even a slur of this word, which just means Choctaw. Thinking about that history, it's no wonder that these dogs are intense. Native Americans and settlers used Catahoula for hunting deer, bobcat, wild hogs, and even bears. Follow me for day 4 of 30 days of American dog history when we're talking about the Australian Shepherd. I bet you've never heard of this dog breed named after a US president. This is day 2 of 30 days of American dog history. Yesterday we talked about the American Foxhound, and today we're talking about a fun little terrier. This breed has been called many different things throughout its history. Type B rat terrier, short-legged rat terrier, bench-legged rat terrier, but in 1999 it was officially named the Teddy Roosevelt Terrier after President Theodore Roosevelt. But you can just call them Teddies. These are tough little hunting terriers with a story intertwined with the history of America's immigrants.
Immigrants, we get the job done.
English miners and other working class immigrants brought their terriers with them to help control mice, rats, and other vermin on their farms. We don't know the Teddy's exact ancestry, but there are a lot of contenders. Possible contributing breeds include the smooth-coated fox terrier, standard Manchester, Old Bull Terrier, the extinct English White Terrier, Beagle, and possibly the Italian Greyhound or Whippet. Teddies are super muscular and very low to the ground. They're only 8 to 14 inches tall. They're smart, affectionate, lively, and alert, just like any good terrier. They tend to love their people and other dogs, but they might be a little wary of strangers. President Theodore Roosevelt loved these dogs, and he used them to help get rid of vermin in the White House. So naming this breed after him just made sense. Follow for day 3 of 30 days of American dog history when we're talking about the Catahoula Leopard Dog. Stop scrolling if you want to know the truth about Australian Shepherds. This is day 4 of 30 days of American dog history. Yesterday we talked about the Catahoula Leopard Dog, and today we're talking about our favorite floofy cowboys, the Australian Shepherd. Yes, I said cowboys.
These dogs, they know, can get cattle out of the brush where a man on horseback couldn't even squeeze through.
Not Australian. They are American! Researching this breed was actually kind of confusing for me because there's no direct line of ancestry, and instead, this American-developed breed is really a melting pot of immigrant cultures, which is as American as it gets. First up, Aussies have some Spanish ancestry deriving from the herding breeds that the Spanish conquistadors brought with them to the New World in the 1500s. Second, Aussies also have some British ancestry. Farmers in the eastern United States and the Midwest used English herding breeds to help manage their flocks of sheep. Migration during the gold rush then brought those English dogs into contact with the Spanish dogs out in the West. And then three, we have the Basque people, who are indigenous to the Pyrenees Mountains. Between the 1870s and 1970s, many Basque people immigrated here to America by way of Australia, and of course they brought their dogs with them. Because Australia had been the Basque people's most recent home, Americans just sort of assumed that the dogs they brought with them were Australian, hence the name Australian Shepherd. The Australian Shepherd quickly became cowboys' favorite herding breed, and they were refined over generations to become the Aussie we know and love today. Aussies are intelligent, high-energy problem solvers who love their people and love to work. There's a reason the breed is popular. They're just an all-around great dog. Like most people and dogs in America, the Aussies' history is a muddled confluence of culture, migration, and the American dream. These floofy cowboys really embody what it means to be American, and I, for one, am proud to boast that the Australian Shepherd is a bona fide American breed. Follow for day 5 of American Dog History because we are talking about the Chesapeake Bay Retriever. This American dog breed only exists because of a shipwreck. This is day 5 of 30 days of American Dog History. Yesterday we talked about the Australian Shepherd, and today we're talking about the Chesapeake Bay Retriever. In 1807, a ship going from Canada to England got caught in a storm on the coast of Maryland and started to sink. The sailors were rescued by some Americans, but they never made it to England. 2 of those sailors were St. John's water dogs. Once everyone had been safely deposited in Norfolk, Virginia, one of the American rescuers purchased the 2 dogs. The dogs ended up in 2 different parts of the Chesapeake Bay area with 2 different owners, but they were both used for duck hunting and they both excelled at it. Both dogs were independently bred and their progeny were excellent duck hunters too. Over time, other breeds were crossed into their lines for traits to make them even better hunters. To understand any breed's history, you need to look at where they were bred and the job that people needed help doing. The Chesapeake Bay is relatively shallow, which means the water doesn't hold heat well, and so the temperatures can get really low during some parts of the year. The Chesapeake Bay is also located right along the path that ducks and geese take when they migrate for the winter. In order to stock up on duck and geese, hunters needed a retrieving dog with great endurance that could tolerate very cold water. Chesapeake Bay Retrievers were developed to be the perfect dog for this job. They have a thick, oily double coat that is insulated and waterproof to repel moisture. Their broad chests act as a sort of plow against ice flows, and they have webbed feet and strong hindquarters that allow them to swim for a very long time without getting tired. In 1887, the lines from those 2 original shipwrecked dogs were recognized as one breed. And in 1888, when the American Kennel Club was founded, the Chesapeake Bay Retriever was the first retriever recognized. Follow for day 6 of 30 days of American Dog History when we're talking about the American Hairless Terrier. This is the only hairless American dog breed. This is day 6 of 30 days of American Dog History. Yesterday we talked about the Chesapeake Bay Retriever, and today we're talking about the American Hairless Terrier. The predecessors of the Rat Terrier and the American Hairless Terrier were brought to America in the 1800s by English miners. Terriers were crucial for eliminating rats and other vermin, which had a penchant for getting into food supplies and often carried disease. The Rat Terrier was developed from those original ratting dogs, and that's where the American Hairless Terrier's story begins. In 1972, a female hairless Rat Terrier was born. Hairless puppies did pop up every now and then, but this one, named Josephine, was special. In her first ever litter of puppies, Josephine gave birth to another female hairless Rat Terrier. And then in her very last litter, 8 years later, she gave birth to a male and a female who were both hairless. Snoopy, the male, was bred to his sisters, and several more hairless puppies were born. And that was the beginning of a new breed. The American Hairless Terrier is a pretty new dog breed. Its breed club was only established in 2009, and it achieved full AKC recognition in 2016. Although they are a distinct breed from Rat Terriers, and their name literally says hairless, they do also come in a coated variety. society. Just like their hairy predecessors, American Rat Terriers are smart, playful, and energetic, and they have lots of terrier attitude. What's super cool though is they are hypoallergenic for people who are allergic to dog hair, and they're less likely to develop skin issues that are common in other hairless breeds. Follow for day 7 of 30 days of American dog history, because we're talking about the Alaskan Malamute. If you love dogs and American history, wait till you hear about this 4,000-year-old dog breed. This is day 7 of 30 days of American dog history. Yesterday we talked about the American Hairless Terrier, and today we're doing a complete 180 and discussing the Alaskan Malamute. The Alaskan Malamute predates the United States, but since it was developed from native Alaskans' dogs in the modern United States of America, it is considered an American breed. The ancestors of the Alaskan Malamute probably crossed the Bering Strait with their humans from Siberia to Alaska over 4,000 years ago. It's pretty cold up there, and the harsh climate required humans and animals to adapt in order to survive. The Malamute tribe living on the northwest coast of Alaska selectively bred their dogs to haul heavy sledges, hunt seals and other Arctic mammals, and protect their campsites from bears. The Malamute's dogs were the perfect all-around dog for their lifestyle and for the harsh climate. During the gold rush, there was a huge influx of settlers, and the demand for sled dogs exploded. Although the settlers admired the Malamute dogs for their working ability, as the gold rush wound down and sled dog racing became more popular, they started adding in outside breeds to try and make the Malamutes faster. Because of that, native Malamute dogs almost went extinct. Luckily, the native Malamute people lived in remote areas, so their dogs remained pure and untouched by outside influence. Natives and other breed lovers worked to preserve and recreate the native Malamute type, and those efforts resulted in the modern Alaskan Malamute breed. The AKC recognized the Alaskan Malamute in 1935. Since then, these dogs were used to do search and rescue, transport weapons during World War II, and the U.S. Postal Service even used them to deliver mail until 1963. In 2024, it was the 79th most popular breed in the American Kennel Club out of over 200 breeds. Follow for day 8 of 30 days of American dog history, when we'll be talking about the Plothound.